Well, so Grumpy and I are splitting the drive up. He gets to stay at the church because they have a crashing room, like a giant sort of room there where you can just sort of pitch a mattress in and take a sleep. I can't do that. Like, fuck no. So one of the other guys who's going, who I know, Mike Percival, is like, I got a double room, and I was just, if anybody needs to split a room with me, I'm like, you know what? I'll split the room with you, and we'll deal with the fact of me trying to sleep around strangers. So that'll be fun. But thank God I don't have night terrors.
Yeah, but I can't. I just can't afford to leave work. It's not even so much the hotels are expensive. I mean, I could save up, I could figure it out, but it's just taking time off of work I can't do stuff like that for very long.
The closest hotel, this is how expensive it's gotten. The closest hotel is the Best Western. And for a room for the 2 nights, 3-day thing that this con is, so Friday to Monday type idea, or check out Sunday, $400 Canadian. So,
wow,
$850 American.
That's crazy.
I was going to say about $800 is what I would expect.
No, 400.
Yeah.
So converting that to American would cost you guys about $330.
All of the hotels that we've stayed in when we did our last travel, and that wasn't even like during con or anything, because oftentimes local places will, like, if there's a convention in the area, they'll start raising their prices and stuff. But yeah, the last time we went on a road trip, which was 22, it was like, 800 or some odd a night for any of the places, and that's just through the Midwest that we went. So it was
hotels have gotten crazy. My hometown in Eastern Quebec, in my weird French Canadian Appalachian life, hello Misty, it's a small town of like 2,000 people, and a hotel there is like $150, $200 a night.
Oh jeez.
Like what? None did what? Like post-COVID, everybody has lost their collective sense of reality. And, they're Brian. They say time breaking. They do this stuff that just breaks reality. And you go, why? Anyway, nice to see we've been live for 2 minutes, and Sarah gave us a nice free heads up on going live. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
It's the best way to do it.
That's why no one likes Australia. Just saying.
I'll just wait till you see how we end the show.
To be fair, I got it from him.
Yeah, I've yeah, that's not, no. No. He doesn't have 10,000 subs because of his live streams. I can promise you that. It's because of his quality.
I can guarantee you that.
It's like 12K.
Have you seen my live streams?
I've been on your live streams.
They're a work in progress.
Hey, at least you don't have the broken streams that I do, where my either internet drops or YouTube fails or blue screen, because every time it's a different thing that causes it to crash, and then we end up in a here's this same stream part 2. I think I've had that happen like 4 times now.
Once again, do we need to get like an exorcist and an extraction team for you? What's going on, Tori?
During the PC build stream, which is part, my computer's blue screening. Well, it's 7, 8. I don't know how old. It's old, so it's probably time for some new hardware. So we are doing off the laptop, and then the power blips, which I didn't hardwire the laptop because I was in a hurry and didn't think ahead. So the instant it blipped, the router and the AP went down. So it's like, oh, cool. So that happened. And it blipped for like a half second. It was like flash, and then the power was back and it was fine. But it was enough to knock the Wi-Fi out. So, and then the blue screen, actually, I suspect, now that I've had a chance to think about it, I only had 16 gigs of RAM in that old machine, like total. So I'm OBS, streaming, game, playing, and on OBS, I was doing just the game and nothing else. But then that particular evening, I was doing camera, game, YouTube chat. So I had multiple. And the only time I've ever, it did blue screen one other time, but the main 2 times that it did blue screen is when I tried to have the YouTube chat up there. Because after I went back in and turned the YouTube chat off, it didn't it never blue screened again after that. So part of me thinks that something happened there when it was trying to process that particular piece of the OBS scene that caused it to just. And anyways, I have new hardware now. I'm on my new machine right now, actually. It's great.
Strike Team is standing by, Tori.
If I say he's from Minnesota, does that kind of explain the temperature thing? Well, technically, actually, I think they're
called up Beans. No Strike Team. I'm not allowed to do anything to Minnesotans because they're like Southern Canadians. We're not allowed to.
His family's from Minnesota.
I was the governor of Minnesota for a very long. I was the Jesse the Brain is what they call me. Now I live in the Baja.
Family from Minnesota, but he actually spent most of his childhood in a place around here called Condon, which basically borderline can't even find on a map. It's like the entire
around here.
Montana, where we are now.
Holy shit! You live in Montana?
Yeah, I've said that before. I thought you knew that.
I had this exact same reaction then because I always love the fact that you live in a place that has more animals than people.
Careful when you say that because the year 2020 happened, so that's quickly becoming not a thing.
Or are they flooding into Montana now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Wyoming's the safe place to go now. Is that it?
You want to
get off the grid?
Eastern Montana, because nobody lives out there.
That's amazing. You just self-censored yourself. Like you almost had like your own little like clip button. That was great. Lives out there. That's awesome.
That's how I talk like that.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah,
it's okay. We can say cunt here.
It's a habit. It's a habit now, actually. I don't know where it came from because I worked with technicians and I worked in a warehouse. I'm not a stranger to bad language, but for some reason that seems to be the thing now that I self-censor.
Oh yeah, you betcha there, eh? Oh yeah. Oh boy, Minnesota. There's something else them there. Does he do the Minnesota goodbye?
Well, like I said, his family is from there, and I think they were there until he was like 4 or something like that. Yeah, They moved over here. So Condon, for anyone who's not familiar, again, you probably will find it on the map, but it's sort of Little House in a Prairie, but a logging town. But the entire town, they had one school with like 4 grades all together in one classroom. It was so small. And that was the majority of his childhood was around there. And, back when it actually snowed during the winter. And you have like one gas station, one main general store. Everybody there all works for the same company because it's a logging town. So they're just all loggers, was homeschooled, like had a very, very, I'm almost jealous. Like, dang, that's kind of a nice childhood.
No, I kind of grew up in that childhood to a certain extent. A little less of the homeschooling and all in one class, but the one gas station, one general store, one thing. You're not missing out, trust me.
I grew up on military bases, so I don't know if that means anything, but I was inside so much it didn't.
For you, like living in a garbage dump would have been an improvement. We completely understand. It's military. I've heard the stories. I've heard the tale.
Well, I was too young to remember, 1, and 2, I didn't I actually loved it. I didn't know anything about, because it was my entire childhood. Like I didn't find out until 9 or 10 that people don't drive through gates to get home because there's like the gate and you drive through. Like there are things that, and like I would refer to the commissary and then when we moved and we weren't living on base anymore, I would say like the commissary, and it would expect everyone to know what I was talking about. And people were like, what's that? And they had, yeah. And like I had an ID when I was 10, and there was just little things that I thought were normal that I found out later were not normal.
Well, if you ever get a chance to be around and we have like Max Liao and those guys from various things, they're all military guys, right? Like, even Max Liao currently still is a civilian working for the American Air Force. And they'll talk about base life and living on base and what a nightmare scenario it is and how crappy the houses are and stuff like that. So it's like, okay. So all I ever hear about that, you're the first person I've ever heard say anything nice about growing up on a military base or living. Ow, you cat! You can hear the squeaking, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was now the claws in the thighs to go, no, really, I'm starving to death, Daddy. You didn't put enough food anywhere for me.
You just look down and like there's like why is half my leg digested? Like he's just gonna start eating into you.
No. Why eat me when he can torment and inflict pain that'll eventually get me to get up and go give him food he won't eat?
Fair.
That's the game we play. Is like, what can I buy that you will turn your nose up? Like that's the game. So I've tried every brand of food with him that I can afford because I'm not spending money on the good stuff because that stuff costs like $3-4 a can, and I love them and all, but I can get tuna for $1.20 if I really want to push it. So
Yeah.
But every now and then he just goes fuck you and claws in my leg and sort of go, I really, really, really am unhappy with the dining arrangements.
She's figured out what we don't like. So when she was younger and didn't have her current issues, she would deliberately, like while I was sleeping, I still remember this. I'm so mad. I was trying to sleep, but I wasn't fully asleep. And she was running around my room, and where I lived then, I just had the one room. So like my computer, my bed, everything. It was literally just that one room. And she would knock stuff off all the time, and it would wake me up out of a dead sleep. She ruined one of my books. She ruined my Dragon Riders of Pern book by dumping stuff on it. I was lying there, and I was like kind of doing that thing where like my eyes were closed, but I could sort of see through, like a little bit. And I watch her. She goes over to my desk. She looks at me. She goes back. She reaches out her paws, biffs my keys off my desk. And before they hit the floor, she has jumped over to about this close in front of my face and is just holding right there, this close to my face, like just waiting. Because she knows as soon as the keys fall that I'm going to wake up. And I was just like, you manipulative son of a... Yeah, she would knock things off to wake me up all the time.
So when I used to teach, the vast majority of my students were new Canadians. They were from other places that had migrated here. And a lot of the Kenyans, Cameroonians, and Nigerians I would work with all love dogs, all hate cats. And I'm like, why do you hate cats? Oh, they're evil, they're this or that. And I realized they were being programmed by the religious upbringing they had to believe that cats were the tools of witches. So I would take it upon myself as their educator to educate them and explain the domestication of dogs. And they'd be like, yes. They'd completely understand. Yes, they were wolves who were hungry, and we fed them, and then they hung around us, and we could go to sleep at night because they would be watching over us. Yes, this is a great thing. Dogs are amazing. Aren't they wonderful? And I said, yes. And then because we started becoming gatherers and farmers, and we started getting grain. And what happens when you start stockpiling grain? They're like, oh, well, rodents are going to show up. I said, exactly. Rodents are going to show up and eat your grain. So out of the woods or off the savannah or wherever the hell you were, these little furry bastards wandered into our villages and went, ooh, buffet, and started eating the rodents that were attacking the grain and kind of domesticated themselves to hang out. But because of that, we were able to store more food and then grow larger civilizations and eventually go to the moon. So maybe we can stop picking on cats. Allegedly. Because cats are okay, thank you, James Brian. Cats are an integral part of the evolution of human civilization, whether we like it or not. That's why the Egyptians thought they were divine and why the Roman legions cherished them. There's a huge history involved with cats. Now, does that change the fact that they're little prick bastard assholes? No, it does not. In fact, it reinforces it that everything is on a cat's terms, not on yours, whether you like it or not. How many cats do you have, Tori? One?
One right now. Yeah, we wanted to get 2 when we moved, but she spent her whole life being a single cat, and we didn't want to again, she's older, she's sick, all of that stuff. So we just didn't want to stress her out even more by introducing a new critter. But right now, you were talking about food earlier. Right now, we have to get special food from the vet that has extra nutrients in it because she has cancer. So her body's kind of operating at a negative all the time. So just maintaining weight. So what we're trying to do is just keep her as comfy as we can until, it's time for her to pass. She's doing...
So I was answering this question then. As a cat owner, how many times have you found yourself having this conversation with your cat? Why Why? Why? What benefit was there to any of us for this moment in time to happen? Why? And they just sit there looking at you, blinking, like, well, what do you want?
Like this morning.
Exactly.
But she learned when she was little how cute she is. And she also learned as she got older that she permanently looked like a kitten. She never lost the kitten look. Her fur was even like down fur, soft fur. So she would look at you and she would go blink, blink. And then she would like get to a point where she would look cute on purpose. Like I'm pretty positive when she does some of her poses, she does it on purpose.
Oh yeah. Beans is not allowed when I want to go to sleep. I actually need to sleep. They're not allowed in my room for the night. Like it's just not going to happen because I need to sleep this night. Let's say I got to work early in the morning or something. He does this thing I call his poster boy walk, which is instead of just dashing into my room and waiting for me to kick him out, he does this slow, languid, stretchy walk where he's like posing every step. Like, where did you learn this? Like, what is this? It's like, I'm a model. It's like it's insane. Meanwhile, Misty does the crocodile roll cutesy thing.
Oh.
Whenever Misty's in trouble, he'll do this weird upside down roll, expose my belly, show you my face. I'm so cute. Look at me. They're fucking manipulative demons from hell. Brian, you have cats?
Yeah.
How many?
4, 5.
Wow.
Are they all outdoor like barn cats or are they house cats?
One is a house cat. Another is an indoor-outdoor. The other 3 are all outdoor.
How about you, Sarah? Are you guys allowed cats anymore in Australia?
Yeah.
Because I know you had that problem with the feral cats for a while, which was pretty insane.
Yeah. No, where we are, they actually allow free neutering at vet clinics now for cats.
Nice.
So yeah,
calm down the feral cat problem you were having. Yeah.
pretty much.
Like that's the one thing I love. There's a perfect example of why cats are divine. Australia. 90% of everything in Australia wants to kill you. 90% of everything in Australia can kill you. Rodents get brought over by Europeans and start going crazy. So, like the brilliant people they are, they go, all right, let's introduce cats to the environment and see what happens. All ground nesting birds are now in danger, and all this stuff that can kill you is going, what the fuck? Why are these things here? You know? I love your product. I love your entire continent, man. It's just crazy go nuts over there. From the emu war to right down to the cats.
I can't help but notice Sammy's comment there about the beetle. Did you guys?
I saw it, and I was like,
No, when we were when I was little. So my parents, I grew up on military bases. Parents got divorced because dad was in the Marines. Came up here to Montana because that's where the grandparents lived. So that's where my mom could go. So when we came up here to my grandparents, they had emus. And so one of my chores as a kid was hauling buckets of feed, fill a 5-gallon bucket, fill it with like these little pellet thingies and going down and feeding and watering the emus. We had 4 of them.
Preparing them for war with Australia. Yes, you must train the troops.
I loved it though. I love the emus. I managed to save one picture of them. Outside of that, I don't really have any pictures of them left.
Nice. Cool.
So Game Masters, you had a topic for tonight.
I don't even remember what it was now.
Sorry.
Magic the Gathering D&D.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I guess Wizards is pushing out... you said it best in Discord a few days ago, but Wizard of the Coast is pushing out a secret lair drop for Magic the Gathering that is based on the 50th anniversary of D&D. Do you remember what it was that you specifically said?
The absolute fuck.
That, but the justification behind saying that.
Buy D&D cards for Magic the Gathering because it's Baldur's Gate 3 themed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is some Baldur's Gate 3 themed cards that are going to be part of that drop, but it looks like 2 of them are also going to be. So you have a beholder, right? Beholders have different eye stalks, and it looks like some of these cards are rebranded older cards, but will be rebranded as Ray of based on the beholder's eye stalk power. I don't know why that's a topic.
Well, I like the fact you used the term pushing out, because now in my head I can just see WotC going and trying to take their neck shit on us. So that works for me.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Huh? Yeah, I love it.
All right, I guess I'm the inexperienced one of the group, but I'm not following necessarily. So they're dropping new Magic cards. And they happen to be D&D themes. Like, what's the?
But they're not new cards. They're just recycled old cards with maybe new art and a new title.
Right.
Is that what we're saying?
Pretty much.
I mean, haven't they been doing that for years?
Good morning.
Good morning.
They have. They have. I mean, this is all part of what they call a secret lair drop, which you can only purchase exclusively on their website.
Oh, so they're not offering real cards?
No, they're real cards.
Oh, okay. You just can't buy them on like Amazon or from card shops or
Right.
anything yet.
Right.
Yet. Because once they get
exclusive, right? They're trying to program you into that exclusivity.
Yes. Yes.
FOMO.
Yeah, that video game mentality.
Yeah. So what it is you're going to get a set of, I think it's like, there's going to be 3 different waves of it. I think the first wave is 5 cards, maybe 6 cards. The second wave is the same amount. Third wave is the same amount.
Which wave did the Pinkertons show up at my house? That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to be part of.
I don't know. They're not going to spend the money to go up to Canada.
Oh no, we
They
have
might.
Pinkertons in Canada.
They might.
No, we have Pinkertons in Canada. They're associated with security agencies here.
Okay. But I think my biggest area of contention is they're going to be charging like $50-$60 for 6 cards. These cards, I'm in the printing. I know how much this material costs. I know what the cardstock costs. You're looking at most, we worked it out, about 43 cents per card at most.
How much are they charging per card?
They're charging about $60 for 6 of them. So about $10 a card. Yeah, $10 a card.
It's pretty
It'd
good
be
markup.
one thing. It's a huge markup. It would be one thing if that were the prices that were being garnered on a secondary market, but because they are trying to peddle this as being exclusive, they are more or less falsifying what, and I say falsifying, but I mean they're more or less driving the price to a collector's price on the front end of things.
Well, but you can't just take material cost in consideration as far as what should we charge for this thing. There's the art for the card. There's the
That
actual
43 cents includes the payment of the art. When you spread it out over the amount of cards that they're creating, that includes the payment of that.
Okay. But
Brian, let's say for fun you add up all the costs. It costs them $1 a card to produce their cards. $10 is still pretty gougy.
But that's the thing. I mean, they're but then also you add in your exclusivity. They're not printing it at the same level, and on top of that, it's a like there is still that intangible of what kind of value do we want to put on it? Like
they want to communicate that they're valuable by charge. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Like
exactly. Exactly. Like think about like what is the actual cost of a Lamborghini? Or something like that. Is it really that much more expensive than we'll say a Sonata? I'm not trying to go like the gremlin. I mean, clearly there's a difference in value there, but
But some of it's in the name. Well,
Brian, I really have.
What?
I've missed being on panels with you. Nothing better than a panel where you get like 4 people whose heads are like, "Yeah, burn that place down." And Brian's like, "Okay, I understand, but."
Well, but I mean, it like that is my thing. It's the business side.
But it's not a business side. Okay, I self-publish, and I can tell you what costs are like. Brian works in printing. He can tell you what costs are like. They are gouging. At $10 a card, they are gouging, and they are creating an artificial exclusivity market that they're hoping is going to work out for them. Just like their anniversary edition $1,000 box of non-tournament legal cards they were going to put out. This is not going, well, our costs are this, our expected revenues are this, so this would be a fair market value for this. This is, how much money can we squeeze out of these people that are addicted to our shit?
Sure. No, I'm not saying it's not a money grab, but but that's the other thing. It is especially in this case, it is a luxury good. All of this, every single thing is a luxury good.
Well, these days everything's a luxury good, dude. Gas is a luxury good these days.
I mean, the ice cream we bought yesterday was a luxury good, and we
by that justification, then I'll go buy a cow. I'll go buy 2 cows, and I'll start selling milk. But the milk that I sell is going to be $30 a gallon.
Yeah,
because it's going to be exclusive. Nobody else is going to have the 2 cows that I have.
But hang on. You make a good point, Brian. Sorry, Tori, go ahead.
I was going to say something that I'm thinking about is who their target audience is. I mean, I highly doubt that people like you and Bear and Game Master's camera. But
that's the worst.
I highly doubt that people like us they don't care that we think it's expensive. We're not their target audience. Sometimes
sorry, go ahead.
I would say when they're setting these prices, I get the feeling that they're specifically thinking like, a particular market is going to be buying this product and they're catering to that market. Because I used to live with someone who played Magic the Gathering, and it was one of those where like he just wanted the cards. He would just go out and buy the cards because he just wanted to have them. And he also played World of Warcraft and stuff too, and he would buy like in-game items in World of Warcraft because that he wanted this one specific mount and only so many people had this mount. And there's definitely an audience for people who want that kind of thing and who will spend money on that kind of thing because they don't care.
They're called whales.
Yeah, and that's also a bad thing, by the way, in case we're wondering about whether or not this is a good thing or a bad thing. In the analysis of the human condition, mass consumerism on that level with FOMO mentality put on top of it and exclusivity because my life sucks, I've got nothing else, but hey, I got this one thing no one else has, so now I'm cool, is a bad thing that has been programmed into us over the last 20, 30 years really hardcore by a lot of these companies. And as a result of that, we are now at the point where we no longer have any excuse to complain because we allowed this to be done to us as a civilization. If you want to break WotC, if you want to bring down the price of Magic cards, play different games. Buy other products. Put your money into supporting indie publishers. When you have a friend on Facebook who's going, hey guys, I just released this thing. It's going to cost you $10, $15. It'd be really great if everybody could help out on it. I can tell you from experience, you can expect less than 10% of your immediate audience, never mind strangers, your immediate audience to back you and help you on that. But these same sons of bitches are bitching about that latest Disney film they went to see, or how much their Disney Plus subscription costs. So we have a problem, which is that we do not support the creators within our own community the way we support faceless corporations who hate us and want to exploit us and take money from us. And it is a sickness, and we need to get over it. I'm not saying socialism or communism, that's retarded. I'm not into that behavior pattern, but there is a need to break the pattern of consumerism for faceless corporations that we've been suckered into in the 20th and early 21st century. It's a bad thing, guys.
Yeah, no, and that's completely true. I watch your boy Zach videos every now and again.
Is he losing his mind, by the way?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But no, I do like the way that he puts it. It's the divorced dentists. They have too much money, and like you said, Bear, they have nothing else. They've already lost their wife. The kids hate them probably, but I'm a dentist, so I make plenty of money, and I can spend $1,000 on the 20 exclusive Magic cards that look like D&D books.
Yeah.
I will admit that ad did kind of sucker me in with the 3rd edition Monster Manual cover.
Yeah, I know
it. I'd still not buy it. Like actually, I had a friend message me yesterday. He's like, "Do you play Magic?" I'm like, "I don't do collectible games. That is bad for my mentality." And so we were just talking about like. He's like, "Oh, well, they have a Warhammer 40,000 set, and maybe the Doctor Who set will get my dad into it." And it was just like, no.
So I started playing Magic in the 90s when it first came out, and I quit when Ice Age came along. Ice Age was the last expansion I played because they brought in mana upkeep, and I was like, "Well, this is stupid, and the game is no longer fun now that I've got to do upkeep at my table and I got to track all my stupid shit. This is dumb. I like playing the game where we just duel and then we're done. Yay, life is good." And I've never looked back since. And I'm very, 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 very fucking happy that I didn't get addicted to that shit, because I've seen what Magic crack looks like, and it's not good. Not good. But Warhammer 40K has the same problem. You mentioned it. Same problem. Games Workshop treats their customer base like absolute garbage, and then exploits every fucking penny they can out of them. You know what I mean? It's insane. WotC and Games Workshop are two corporations, well, Hasbro, in the WotC side, that I would happily see the world continue without. It would not disturb me. There would be no loss to civilization if these two corporations ceased to exist. In fact, I think there'd be a net gain for us.
Probably.
Oh, I messed it up. I was too busy listening to Bear and I missed it.
Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Thank you.
No, it is crazy. And of course, I will admit with Games Workshop, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but it has been interesting because I've started redabbling in 40K. And
hang on, I have a cat deep diving in a garbage bag. I'll be back.
But finding that the rest of the miniatures industry hasn't completely followed suit, but isn't necessarily too far behind as far as pricing is concerned. So I think that might be another problem, is that everybody else is following along with what the big people are doing. It's like, oh, WotC sells a book for $60. We can sell a book for $60. Gone are the days of, or like we've talked about a couple of weeks ago, the $10 splat book. What happened to that? Nope. Only thing you can get is this $50 hardcover, full color, 200-page book. Where's just give him my 64-page pamphlet, for $10.
Is it because we're trying to, while upping the price, we're also upping the perceived value? Because if you can convince someone it's worth it, then they'll spend the $50.
I think that's part of it. But two, I look at, so the amount of books that Wizards can afford to produce all up front at once is going to be wildly and vastly different than the amount of books that, say, for example, Kobold Press can afford to print up front all at once. But at the same time, Wizards, with the amount that they're printing, could afford to sell that book at $40 a book. And they'd still be making a healthy profit because they're getting a thicker, heavier discount on the front end. Kobold Press, on the other hand, would likely not be able to sell that same amount of books at $40 a book because they're not getting as much of a discount because they're not ordering as many books to be printed up front. But yet the cover prices are the same. So what does that tell you about what Wizards of the Coast is doing? So yes, they are 100% working on basing their prices off of a perceived value.
The next thing. Oh,
no, go ahead, go Tori.
The next thing that goes through my head is when we did, I think it was the panel that we did with Bear, where he was asking us what do we think would happen if WotC would, because it's like we're discussing all of this, we're discussing how we don't like their business practices, we're discussing how this and that and the other thing, and then the next question in my mind is like, okay, well, who cares? Like, if they go under, they go, like, if they price their books too high and people stop buying their books, if people don't want the book, they won't buy it. If people want the book, they'll buy it. And you know, I have this back and forth with Steve all the time about Call of Duty, because I think Call of Duty is the dumbest thing on the planet and horrible, but at the same time, it keeps selling millions and millions and millions and millions of copies. So technically, if it were really that awful and if it was really as bad as I say it is, why is that many million people buying it? I mean, obviously, right. If not all, a large, some of those people actually don't think it's terrible and actually enjoy it and play it. So it's like, and if WotC did go down, we just keep playing our games. So
you don't need to count down, Bear. We see you.
No, I'm just going to see the hand because I have an answer for Tori on this one.
I figured you would.
Tori, have you ever been to a Golden Corral?
Once.
Okay. See, that reaction was exactly what I was hoping for. Once. Wasn't a great experience, right? You ever notice how they never go out of business, though? You never see the boarded up Golden Corral, do you? You always see people in that place eating that. Okay, all right. It's a fucking hyperbole. Jesus. What is with the bottom row of pedantists? Like, Jesus.
How about Waffle House?
I mean, does it matter, though?
I've seen IHOPs close. The point is that the lowest common denominator tends to do better than things that are good for you. And it's usually because of marketing. It's usually because of market penetration and things like that. It's a combination of effects. Well, WotC is the 800-pound gorilla in the room, whether we like it or not, when it comes to role-playing. And when it comes to miniature space battles, Games Workshop is the 800-pound gorilla in the world. Here's the thing. Does it matter if they go out of business? You bet your bottom dollar it does. Because the stores and places where we go buy the games we like and we buy the new material no longer are selling material from these big giants that everybody floods in to purchase. And as a result, the market goes. And when a market compresses to the point where it becomes a complete luxury item, prices go up. That's a problem.
Yeah, and it... Oh, sorry, Brian. Go.
Arrow had his hand first.
Just quickly, that doesn't quite apply here in Australia because
nothing applies in Australia.
You're not real.
No, you're not a real place.
Just like the UK, Games Workshop have their own stores here in Australia. Mm-hmm. So if they went down, if they went down, all it would mean was their stores would disappear.
So in Canada, we also have Games Workshop stores, and then we also have third-party stores that sell their product. And those third-party stores make a lot of money off of selling Games Workshop product from the people who do not want to deal with a Games Workshop store.
Yeah, even in the UK, and I guarantee if you look around in Australia, a lot of the third-party stores are still carrying it. Games Workshop wants to drive people to their stores, but their stores do not do the volume that their third-party sales do. So
there are stores that do. At least 3 of the hobby shops that I get my stuff from usually have Warhammer 40k stuff. But I've talked with them, and each time they always say they want to get out of their contracts with them, but they can't, even though the merch barely fucking sells.
Then why can't they get out? Why can't they get out of the contract with them?
It's kind of the same paradigm as why some of these places can't get out of their contract with, or can't change their contract with WotC, because if you get D&D books, you have to get Magic the Gathering cards.
Not in Canada.
In Australia, they do.
I used to work for a distributor, and we carried all of the WotC product for WotC because WotC didn't want to go through the headache of setting up distributorship in Canada.
Well, but it is also different nowadays with Shift, and I think WotC's doing a lot of their own distribution at this point.
Not in Canada. Trust me, there's 3 major distributors in Canada that carry all role-playing and card product, and unless they're ordering somehow directly from WotC and picking it up across the border and bringing it in themselves and paying their own import fees on that, all comics and card stores are buying from one of these 3 major distributors in Canada. There used to be 4. I worked for one. It went out of business because I'm such a good employee.
That's the way to do it. But yeah, they... the one in particular I'm thinking of, they would have to basically just be giving away the Magic the Gathering cards because it would just take up space. No one was coming to the store for Magic the Gathering. They were coming to the store for, D&D books or, Reaper minis or the official what's it called?
WizKids.
Yeah, WizKids minis.
Which are decent minis.
On the fleet chance that BattleTech minis remained in stock for more than a day, they would have those as well.
Sharing a link, sharing with you, but Brian also had the other Brian, non-Y, had something he wanted to add earlier.
Oh, y'all hit on it. I was going to say, back in the late 90s, Games Workshop decided to start opening up their own stores, and that killed a lot of the local game stores from carrying that product. And as a result, sales dried up.
Well, we had them in the early 90s in Canada, I can tell you that. I mean, they were here from like 91 easily, 91. Anyway, this is my point I wanted to make. The list price was $68.66. When it was pre-order, it was $75 something. Now it's $55. If you can fluctuate your product's price by a full $20, you are overcharging your market.
And yet the back of my book says that it's $49.99.
Exactly.
Well, hold on, Brian. That's Canadian dollars.
Oh, yeah. Forgive me.
Didn't. Okay. Gotcha.
We pay extra. And by the way, that's the point I was making earlier. My camera's being weird. Hang on. That was the point I was making earlier. To sell in Canada, you have to pay import fees. You have to pay. There's tons of shit that gets added onto these products to come in Canada. But Amazon had it at pre-sale for $75.99 or something like that. Then suddenly its list price was $68.66, and now it's on sale for $55, $55.96. If your product can have a full $20 swing in price before it hits the market, you are overcharging. And I don't think those people who paid the $75 whatever when it was first put up on Amazon for the pre-order are getting a discount because it's now $55.96 before launch.
Actually, they are, Bear.
All right, well, I'll believe you because I've never gotten a penny from them.
No, I'll explain it real quick.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Can you put on your big boy pants and mansplain it to
already me? Did.
Alrighty.
No, so my guess on the $75 is that Amazon Canada was making a guess at what they would have to charge on it because of, well, hold on. Again, give me just a second.
Okay, your idea can come through, but it's wrong, just so you know.
Again, this is just a theory because again, you said it like list price went from 78 to 60 to the 68, 66 or whatever it is. And then there's a discount on top of that. So that's why my guess is they've guessed what they had to price it at. Now they knew what the retail price was. But then what they also do, notice that that's still a pre-order. Yeah. Okay. So not until September 17th. And what I've done in the past with Amazon, they'll put it up and I'm like, I know I'm getting it. So I'll tag the pre-order. And then they don't actually charge you until day of.
Okay, that's fair.
And then they'll charge you whatever the lowest price is between when you put in your pre-order and when the actual order came in.
That's fair. Then that's fair. That's fine. But the thing is, though, is that WotC tells them the price. They don't set the price. WotC tells them the price. It's the same thing with Apple. Apple has the same power. You can never, and I worked for Apple. you can never purchase a brand new Apple product for cheaper than the Apple Store. If you want to carry Apple product in your business, which they're more than happy to do with you, you are not allowed to undersell them, right? WotC has, because Hasbro has this type of mentality as well, they have the same idea for new product. You cannot undersell the parent company.
Right. But in this case, the reason I'm saying that the 75 was a guess, what if the cover price on the book had been $60? Like I kind of assumed it was, but it's now $50 instead. So they say, oh, it's probably going to be a $60 book. So Canada, we have to charge 75. Oh, now it's a $50 book. Okay, cool. We're going to drop that 75 down to the 68.
Yeah, but when they put it up for pre-order, when they get permission from WotC to put it up for pre-order, they have to ask WotC what the price is.
No.
Dude.
Share your screen.
I've worked on that side of things, man. I've seen the contract.
I'm just saying I've seen Amazon throw stuff up for pre-order.
Not from big companies. Big companies they got to be real fucking careful with, or they lose their exclusivity deals because those corporations will sue them in a heartbeat, Brian.
Not to mention that the if you take a look at the back cover that's there, it shows what the price is on the cover of the book.
I don't see a back cover. Let's go. Price back cover. There we go. Back cover. Yeah. Suggested retail $49.99 right there.
Okay. Again,
so I mean, they can't make
I don't work for Amazon. I'm guessing.
Exactly. But the point is that you're guessing with people who work in an industry or have worked in an industry where we know as opposed to guess, and that we can tell you there's differences. That's all. Now, if you're Bob Dog Boot Co., yes, Amazon can play fast and loose because you're just goddamn happy Amazon's buying your product to sell on the open market. But when you're WotC, or when you're Disney, or when you're Apple, or you're any of these big boys, they have insanely negotiated contracts. Hell, as a distributor, our contract with WotC was insane. It was absolutely insane what we were and weren't allowed to do. They would tell us when we could discount product. WotC could decide as a distributor when we were allowed to lower price on product to sell more of it. We didn't have a choice. But conversely, Decipher, who we were carrying green product from, or even because they were still around in those days, West End Games or whoever, we were free to set our pricing for whatever the fuck we wanted. It's a big difference in those worlds, man. There we go. I just cannot explain it to you.
Well, and then
I'm glad to learn that WotC doesn't charge you until it ships, and then you only pay the ship price.
Amazon. WotC will charge you like right out the gate.
Yes, Amazon. And never give you $1 back.
Right. Actually, I remembered the point I wanted to make about like exclusive products, and like upcharge things like that. So, like think about like special edition books. Like I know Bear's got the Palladium Fantasy First Edition.
Not anymore.
You don't have the red foil cover edition?
I gave it to my friend who it was her first game ever that she ever played in her life, so I gave it to her as a thanks for bringing. She's my American connection. She lives in Vermont, so every time I order stuff and get it shipped to her, she brings it up with her when she comes to visit Montreal once a month. So this was my, hey, thanks for being an awesome person.
Awesome.
Made her very happy. But point aside, keep going.
Right. So, but things like that, where it's like the foil cover or the embossed whatever, yes, there's extra cost there, but extra cost is like a nickel, or something, on top of the regular cost. But they're going to charge a $10, a $20, a $50 premium to get the foil edition of the book. So those kinds of exclusive things have existed with ridiculous markups forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but there is a kill. There is, like, you have to understand, there is the Lazarus clause. There's a time clause where basically after X amount of time we can do whatever the fuck we want. Be it 8 months, or if that's been sitting on my shelf for a year, I'm now free and clear to put whatever goddamn price I want out at the distributor level. Stores can do what they want.
I want to share this something real quick. So, Seraphis, if you could, I don't know if you can, there. So it's kind of hard to see, but that right there, this is the collector's edition of the Player's Handbook, $49.99.
Real quick, I'll teach you a trick real quick. Zoom in on the barcode.
But that is zoomed in.
Oh. If you look at that little barcode on the right.
Yeah, $49.99.
Right. That's where, like, if it doesn't show the price, a lot of times if you look at that, oh, there it is.
So it's the exact same price.
Oh.
Now, how much is it
in
selling
spite of
for?
it being a shiny foily cover?
We don't even have that on the Canadian side. Oh man, like that's actually a pretty book.
Well,
I like that book.
I remember when I got the Eberron 5th edition book, I did get the special cover because it's Eberron. Literally the only special cover for anything 5th edition that I've ever picked up. And I know that there was like a $10, $20 premium on that. So
again, yeah, I mean, I guess that at that point that was a WotC production. So
wait, is that available for purchase or not? That thing.
Say again.
I don't know if you can see
that book you just showed. Is it available for purchase?
No. This is supposed to be a game store exclusive.
So man,
now if you have a local game store and they have the capability of pre-ordering it, then yes, you can.
They're going to mark that up so high. Forget that.
Well,
I don't know if you can see that or not. The Player's Handbook there has already been marked down to $69.99 Australian. That converts over to $47.
So you heard it here first, folks. If you're in Australia, buy your D&D book there and save $2. Of course, you are in Australia while you're doing it, so...
I think it's funny that they're already marking it down, because usually they wait 2 months and then start marking it down, because it clearly comes off as they're not...
What page is this?
What do you mean?
It's an Australian retailer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, technically it's a New Zealand Australian retailer, but yeah.
Because I can't even find a picture of that bloody thing you just showed us, that Player's Handbook, and I want it. It's beautiful.
But then you have to buy D&D.
Brian, read the shirt.
That's what I...
Hang on.
Great coffee.
You got the first part, right?
Right.
And then the bear drinking the coffee, and then read what the bottom says.
I hate people and I know things.
I hate people and I know things. I want that cover. It's beautiful. Oh, there she is. She's gorgeous. $51 at Hobbiesville, whatever the hell that is.
It's like
$60 at the Menace. Aren't they Canadian? Yes, they are.
I think I wasn't able to catch all of Brian's stream last night, but I think it was in there that I said something along the lines of, if I ever buy 2024 D&D books, it won't be because of the game. I'll basically just buy them as art books. Like I just have an art. This is an art book. You know,
I'm not buying it, but it's a beautiful cover. I'm sorry, that is gorgeous. Like that is.
Well, some of the art inside really is pretty, but it's about the only thing of value in it, as far as I'm concerned.
And I think that's one of my complaints about it is I don't give a damn at all about the art that's inside the book. I would rather see 10 pages of art removed and have 10 pages of rules, setting, lore, information put in that place.
I mean, are they saving it for the Dungeon Master's Guide?
Doesn't matter. Dungeon Master's Guide is going to have art too.
Hold on though, Brian. I want you to go to any player's handbook in the last, I'm just going to say 30 years. And I want you to tell me how much lore, background, and setting are in those books.
Oh, absolutely none.
Exactly.
But there is mechanics in that.
Sure, but my point is they won't add lore, background, and setting because we haven't been on enough panels talking, so you haven't heard this story. But that is literally the reason that I struggled being interested in Dungeons and Dragons as a role-playing game, because it was always open up the player's handbook and all it was here you're going to make a character. Okay, but why? Whereas you look at any other role-playing game and your first 5 pages, here you are. This is what you're doing. this is what the world is like. Now, go make a character and start adventuring.
Sarah, just sharing a picture, and sharing something really quick to show you guys how weird this has gotten. Okay, so I remember which store this is. This is one of the Canadian stores. Okay, this is, I don't know which one this is. Sorry, I can't find their name. Anyway, Dungeons & Dragons players, blah, 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 blah. $60 Canadian. Okay, then at Hobbiesville, which is up in our nation's capital, $51.95 for the same book. But hang on, 401 Games in Toronto, $54.95 for the same game book.
Wow.
So basically what's happened is WotC has told them their hard basement, their hard drop is $49.99. Now one store wants to charge me $60, one wants to charge me $51, the other one wants to charge me $54. You know what I mean?
Okay, so Goths in Rome, first off, I mean, it's not just between Jehovah's Witnesses and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's everyone and us. But, whatever.
Oh, get off the cross. The Jews were here
read
first.
The comment. Read the comment.
I'm reading the comment, but I'm still telling you, the Jews were here first. You guys can all shut up.
Actually, no. There's like somebody actually did like a study of what people think of the Mormons, and like pretty much everybody hates us except the Catholics, who like only like half of them hate the Mormons, and so they're kind of like just Mormons, meh. Anyways, I just thought that was funny.
This study done by a Mormon? Because I think if you were to do a real poll, you'd get most people go, "What do you think of the Mormons?" I don't.
No, anyways, not the point. I've seen like Watchtower stuff, and I've seen the art in it, which always does have a little bit of a creepy vibe to me. But it's not bad. It's not horrible. And like for the new player's handbook, I think I don't like the cover. Like that gold dragon, there's just something wrong with it to me.
I think I fixed it when I put googly's eyes on it for that one video.
No, it's like the way the neck is positioned. It like just something seems completely off on it.
Okay.
But I
Valley.
An art question, Tori. You're an art person. You might know the answer to this question. If you don't, maybe someone in the chat will.
I'm an art person.
Well, you're more artistic than Sarah. Comparison.
Hold on a second, Bear. Real quick. I've seen some of the art from the interior of the book, and some of it is fantastic. The homage to the cartoon, that piece of art,
that's actually nice.
That was nice. Yeah.
That's really good.
Those gay dwarves cooking, perfect.
Yeah, the ultraviolet in that painting alone, right?
I still haven't seen that. I've heard more people talk about gay dwarves in the book. Okay. I still haven't actually seen the image.
I'll show you in a second. So this is the type of art. When I had a Book of Mormon back in college in the 90s, this is the type of art I saw inside it, right? Which blew me away. And I've always thought to myself, why can't D&D have this style of art? What is this? Is this Raphaelite? Is this Raphaelite? What is this type of art? What is this style called?
I don't know.
Well, it's your fucking religion.
I don't know. I'm saying I don't know what the style is, but I know that picture. I love that picture.
This is a definite style of painting. I don't know what it is. I think it's Raphaelite. I think. I could be wrong. But the point is that I want to see that art in a D&D book. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want to see that level of art. And that's why the loss of Keith Parkinson was a huge loss to us. Because that's the kind of stuff Keith would do. He would do art of that level, and then you'd have the Caldwell over bombastic big titty stuff. Elmore's very distinct Elmore style, and Easley's very distinct Easley style, right? Mm-hmm. But that kind of art, I mean, if I could find someone who does that kind of work, man.
No, that kind of work for RPG prices.
I got some bad news for you, Brian. RPG prices are not cheap for art.
No, but I'm just saying, it's still what an RPG is willing to pay for art. Still ain't that level of art.
Oh no, they easily could get that level of art for what they pay, dude. I had a fucking artist quote me for a cover, £3,000, which would be about $5,500 Canadian dollars for a cover. One image. That's mental. I can go higher. What's his name?
This is the art that I prefer.
Yeah.
But no, take a look. I mean, you look at the amount of artwork versus the amount of information provided on this page alone. You know, you don't have a full spread of art right here that takes up. I want this information, not a whole bunch of artwork.
All right, Grandpa.
But Brian, actually, I'll agree with you a lot on that point, because but there is a catch though. That art is still there, even if it's just not like a 16th of a page or whatever that is. I think having a few of those, like, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm a 2E guy. You're never going to convince me that having great art in your book is a bad thing. Sorry, I'm a 2E. I came up. 2E was my number one D&D, and I grew up on the great paintings art period.
Well, but I at least want some art, like Shadowrun 6th edition will literally go like 8 pages of just walls of text.
Yeah,
and give me just like a little 16th of a page panel. Like,
so Brian, hold your thought there. Tori hadn't seen this, so this is the dwarf art everybody's talking about.
I was wondering.
You got the foundry right here, okay? You got this guy who's got a tattoo of his lover's beard on his arm, and this guy who's got a tattoo of his lover's beard on his arm, and the artist has confirmed they're male. They're bringing scones with oven mitts into the foundry, but wait, there's more. There's an open window and a table, people just hanging out near the foundry. This is where people are losing their minds.
Hold on, don't forget, the gay dwarf with the tray is also walking into the forge wearing sandals.
Yes. So basically, what the outrage is, I mean, look, the gay outrage is always going to be there because there's always people who are like, it's gay, and they lose their minds because they can't handle the idea that gay people exist. We understand that. But it's also the other people. Like my favorite part is all the OSHA heads who are just going, look at all these violations of OSHA. Like, what's going on here, dwarves? You know?
But the sexes of the world.
Yeah. Go, Tori.
I would say my response to that, now having actually seen it, is like, and it's a fantasy world. Maybe they wear sandals near the forge. Maybe they have their shop set up to where there's forges right there. I don't care. I think it looks fine.
Okay, but here actually I think is the best complaint about it. How does that inspire you to an adventure?
I think that is something that's going to be personal, because I look at images like when I'm doing my session prep, most of my prep starts from an image, like either a map or just a setting image. And I go, how did the players get there? Because I want to go there. And so I do a lot of my, like, images are really potent for me for my session prep. And I mean, I feel like that's going to change from person to person. I mean, maybe the images I look at and go, oh, yeah, now that's a session right there. Maybe one of you guys will look at that and go, So,
well, I don't think anybody's looking at Tea Party in the Foundry and thinking about an adventure. Let's be honest, okay? You literally just proved Brian's point by saying you look at art as a call to adventure. Brian's point is that does not present a call to adventure, and he's right. It doesn't. It presents a call to stones.
Right. Tori does also have a point, though, that everybody hears the call differently. Somebody's going to see that. No, somebody.
You want to play in that game?
I don't.
I mean, when I look at that, when I look at that picture, what I picture is like a culture, a location, a shop, some downtime where the players would visit during downtime. Like, this is how that shop might be. I also picture in my head like a sense of community. Like I get a sense by looking at it, like, oh, this is how this particular clan of dwarves might live their life. This is maybe like a stop off point where the player, like, if you challenged me to create a session based off that image, I could. It wouldn't necessarily be like slaying dragons and fight, it would be a different kind of session, but it's certainly possible.
I was going to make a joke, but I decided to let it slide.
Go ahead, Brian.
So I think that also drives my point. I don't care about the art. It's the subject matter of it doesn't bother me. But if you're going to include something like that, then why not also include, instead of showing me the art, how about include the wording that explains, I don't know, how you forge something, or how you bake scones, or what the dwarves area is like. That's at least information that I can use instead of a picture that's taking up space.
You know, it's interesting that you say that. It's interesting that you say that way, because I was having a conversation with I think it was one of the people in my Discord. I'm having a hard time remembering. But we were talking about visual versus written word, because some people are like, if I picked up, so let's say we have 2 players' handbooks, one with that picture and one with just the text of that picture that, as you described it, this is how you bake scones and this is what the dwarves would do and this is the name of the city and like that kind of detail that you were just talking about. If you put both of those books in front of me, I would pick up the one with the picture, because to me, written words are like, let's say more difficult, but like I would rather sit there and look at that picture and then discern from that image than just read the description of that. So I'm just throwing that out there. It's like that's just me. I can't speak for everybody, but that is a thing, that there are people to where the art is really useful compared to just reading about it.
So to counter argue that a touch, assume that that's what it was. Okay. Just that all we have is the picture. You've got somebody that wants to know the rule set of how to bake scones or how to forge an item, or, you know, whatever else is depicted in that, you know, what is the setting and layout of a dwarven area. Okay. Based on the picture, that's going to be open interpretation across every single table on the planet that sits down and chooses to play that. Having it written down, that is a universal explanation of, this is how you do this. This is what the layout of this area is.
Then in that case, I would prefer the former. I don't think that we need universality between tables. I think part of the great part about D&D is that you can take the same rule set, send it to 5 tables, and every single one of those tables is going to be
Then there's absolutely
different.
no reason to ever have this book.
Oh, and maybe that, I mean, I'm not going to buy the book at this point.
Or any book for that matter.
I can't say that, because I was shopping around, when I say shopping around, but like I was more interested in rules light systems. One of my players likes having lots of rules, likes having lots of crunch. And I think that's how we ended up in the DC 20 camp, because
there's no reason to have DC 20 books then.
Tori, it's a trap. You're just being sucked into a circular argument.
I'm just saying. I mean, you know.
So Brian's made his point. He's not going to give you an inch on it, and anything you say, he's going to counter. So at this point in time, the wise man goes, "All right, we disagree," and steps back from the argument.
Yeah.
You keep digging, you're going to just keep spiraling. Just saying, for free.
Just for the record,
this, by the way, is the argument style of a man who spends all his time around university students, in case you're wondering.
And Brian, I get your point about wanting that setting lore. How do you use this particular piece of art, things like that? But it is like, D&D does have a model for the 3 core books that has been the same model forever. And in the player's handbook, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about the setting. They don't talk about, your locations. They don't give you the description of the inn. They give you a player, or the race, the class, the stats, the spells. That's it. They'll put in the art for the inspiration. Oh, here's a cool picture of a paladin. Here is a wizard on an adventure. Here is a rogue picking a lock, to hopefully tell you as a player, these are the things you are going to do in the game. but they're not going to tell you.
Is this your preferred art for D&D books?
No, this is my preferred inspiration.
But that's
this is how I'm coming up with adventures.
This is still better than the Forge. I'm going to throw it out there.
Okay. Can I make a point? Just a real point. Sarah, are you planning to buy D&D 2024?
No.
Tori, are you planning to buy D&D 2024?
No.
Brian, the Mormon, are you planning to buy D&D 2024?
No.
Okay. Brian, Game Masters, other than the free stuff they sent you to review, are you planning to buy D&D 2024?
I had a 2-hour discussion about that last night.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah.
I
yeah, my ultimate at the end of the list, yes.
Okay, so at the end of the list. Me, yeah. I'm really unlikely to buy it, though those limited edition books are beautiful. So we just spent the better part of 30 minutes arguing about a product the majority of us aren't going to purchase or use. Do you now understand how insidious WotC marketing is? All of those paintings, the gay dwarves, the multi-diverse elves, all that stuff is on purpose to generate hype.
This right here, this is, if you want to play, talking about Player's Handbook, if you want to play a gnome, that's all the information you're going to get. Now, I'd rather have a little bit more information other than that.
And again, I can agree with you on the size of the art. I still want more art, especially in a fantasy book that, like, if I'm reading about Cincinnati, Ohio, I don't need descriptions of, like, more than 1 or 2 pictures of people or buildings, because I'm a human living in the world. I already know more or less what exists there. But in a fantasy world, what do the orcs look like? What do the gnomes look like? What, you know, and this applies whether it's D&D or Shadowrun or whatever. That art, you know, yes, you can come up with an idea in your head of what a drow looks like. But sometimes having a picture is going to give you what, I mean, because let's be honest, what that artist is intending. You know, we've set the lore based on the art over the years.
So to Bear's point, you know, the wise man would say, okay, and walk back. My final words on this particular point. The book itself has artwork on almost every single page.
Yeah, that's too much.
That's, in my opinion, too much.
I can agree to that.
That's my point.
So from a publishing point of view, your average should be every 3 to 5 pages. If you have a lot of money, it's every 3 pages you have a piece of art. If you're on a tight budget, like Heroic, it's every 5 pages. You know what I mean? Your average.
Right. And that's what frustrates me about Shadowrun. It's like every 8 to 10 pages, you'll have a piece of art.
It's because they had no money. That's why.
I don't think they have no money, but it's... Well, but that's the other thing. It's Shadowrun. They have 35 years of art.
Okay.
I don't care.
Brian,
recycle some of it.
What are you losing? What are you losing? Like, I get your point about there's too much art for you, but what are you losing? What is being stolen from you by all this art being there?
Lack of information.
But the information is there, and that's all the information you're ever going to get out of them. They're not adding more.
That's the problem. Is that's all the information we're going to get. I personally would like to see more information.
I can agree to that.
Splat books, Brian. How are they going to be able to spell? If they give you everything up front, they can't sell you more information later.
They don't sell splat books.
That's our problem. Is they don't do that. They're already not doing that.
No, 5th edition.
Cauldron, Mordenkainen's Guide. Every adventure path book that they did that has tons more information in it.
It doesn't have tons more information. That's the problem.
It has tons more information than the old adventures used to have, Brian.
Okay, no, but
so in the old days, they'd give you an adventure and a splat book. Here's the Mines of Mogabal, and here's the Dwarves of Mogabal book. What is this? What is this?
Eberron 5 Nations from 3rd edition. Okay, no, hold on. This is literally just a lore book.
Show me how many pictures are in it. Just flip to a random page.
So, Tori, how's your needlepoint coming along?
Anyways, well, no, but my point, Bear, they don't do this kind of book anymore.
Because there was no money in it. They lost money on those books. You guys,
sadly,
at the end of the day, they are a corporation. They need to be beholden to their shareholders and, oh, what a pretty kitty, and make money. What you want has nothing to do with what the market wants. We here, we five, are not, as Tori pointed out earlier, a cross-section of the actual market. Yeah. We are so removed from the market, we are non-impactful upon it.
So we're just going to keep talking about D&D, or can we?
So
change
Disney
the
just canceled the Acolyte.
This is your show, Sarah.
Change it to
whatever you want.
Listen, Sarah.
You decided to do that right when I was drinking.
If you're not going to point us down a hole, we're just going to talk because we have there's three of us here with very strong opinions about everything. Throw out vegetables and we'll argue about vegetables for 25 minutes.
There was a food theory episode.
What do you want to talk about?
What? Sorry, I put my music back on.
Somebody's tried to convince me to eat cucumbers and water as a healthy alternative to pizza.
They are. No, you can snack on them all day. You can snack on them all day.
Or what did he just say? As a healthy alternative to a meal, essentially. Pizza's a meal.
Well, yeah.
Pizza's like, I'm sitting down for lunch, I'm having pizza. Not, I'm having a bowl of cucumbers and water.
I do. I have cucumbers and water for lunch.
It's
how do you lift your arms? How do you have the strength to lift your arms, Tori?
I'm 10, 15 pounds overweight, and now I'm not as much overweight.
You're not. You are not 10 or 15. No, you are not. Honey child, honey boo-boo, you are not 10 to 15 pounds overweight. Stop your nonsense.
I've got
it's not a ton.
Who told you this? Who told you were 10 to 15 pounds overweight?
For my height and age.
No. BMI is bullshit. So
no, I'm not talking about.
So where are you getting your numbers from?
I'm supposed to be, or I should be, around 150 pounds.
Who told you this? Where are you getting these numbers from?
I will tell you this then. Let's say that the number.
Can you?
I am physically I have a large tummy. I have a fat thighs. I am not happy with my shape. Genuinely.
That's
just a little bit.
That's different. That's a personal choice. But you said at the start of this whole little run, I am 10 to 15 pounds overweight for my height and age. And I asked, where's these numbers coming from? What book has the chart that told you this was the weight you should be?
I went to so many places, I couldn't tell you a specific one.
Yeah. Were they doctors? Were they fitness centers?
There are various medical articles and institutions.
Okay. So they were bullshit. They were bullshit designed to get clicks or sell things.
I'm happy with my cucumbers and water.
Okay.
If they were designed to sell things, I'm happy.
That's all you need to say. If you're happy with your cucumbers and water, mazel tov. Nothing
my water
matters. I'm happy with my coffee.
My water. No, it's
I had coffee earlier though. True. I did have espresso, but
Kim has that book.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So I'm honestly, I'm very, very tempted to get this and do a review of it.
No. I think Essence 20 is not a bad system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I and Kim loves My Little Pony. So I was gonna say, not sure if y'all heard that.
I heard that.
I didn't hear it. What'd she say?
She was singing My Little Pony.
She started singing the.
And by the way, my best to Kim.
I don't know where she went. Oh,
she's luring more feral cats into your house.
Probably. She is going just like I keep threatening.
Cackling.
Yeah, just like I keep threatening to run whatever game, she keeps threatening to run My Little Pony. And now keep in mind, we have 3 sons. They will all play. Mom has decreed.
They will play or they will starve.
They're all over 18. So
do they all have jobs?
They do.
They can go buy food.
That right, exactly. But Mom is still going to make them play. Anyways, is that what you wanted to talk about, Seraphis?
No, that's what Brian wanted to talk about.
The Acolyte is canceled, and I'm over here like, and? Didn't watch the show,
little,
didn't care about the show, not surprised it's canceled.
Have you noticed the little impish grin he's been wearing ever since this all started? You guys understand, Brian at Game Masters is an agent of chaos, right? Like, you're aware of this. He presents himself as an agent of order, very structured, very, very... I want to talk to you about a thing that we're going to talk about right now that's a thing that's very, very much a thing in the world and a thing and a thing. But if you listen to the words he's choosing, he's sowing chaos.
Would you like to play a game?
May the forces of evil become confused on their way to your doorstep.
There's nothing chaotic about me at all.
Liar!
So, Seraphis, if you were in alignment, what alignment would you be?
Oh, chaotic good.
Tori?
There's what I'd like to be and what I probably am. I probably qualify as lawful good because I'm a goody two shoe. I'm the teacher's.
Goody two.
You ever eat a cookie? You ever eat a cookie out of the bin at the grocery store?
What?
You ever been grocery shopping and get to the place where they have the bins of loose confection and candies and cookies and all that stuff where you're supposed to fill up a bag and weigh it, and you ever just have a Reese's piece?
That's a thing.
Man, I'm old.
So I think we know what alignment bear is now.
What am I?
I don't know.
And to answer your question, Bear, if that was a thing, no, I wouldn't. Like, I am very...
So you'd be at the cashier going, I'm so sorry I ate a cookie. Please charge me.
I just wouldn't eat the cookie.
I want to answer for Bear because I've said it before and I really like my answer.
Yeah, I love your answer.
Bear's chaotic lawful.
Brian, what would you be?
I fancy myself chaotic good as a general rule, but I think Brian hit it right on the head. I am chaotic lawful.
I can see it.
Kip says I'm chaotic nerdful.
But you're not chaotic nerdful. You're lawful nerdful.
Yeah,
you will always do the but argument. They will always try and you need to understand that 53 cents you say the card cost doesn't include all these other facts. Like, you are such a fucking dad. It hurts.
Would that make Sax lawful evil?
Yes. Saxius is 100% lawful evil. He is legitimately they should just put a picture of Saxius with a fucking ledger in this lawful evil. There you go. You know.
I like to think that I'm at least like neutral good. I know I'm not lawful good, but that's
I've shared PDFs with you. You're not lawful good.
I know I'm not lawful good.
No, sir.
I have acquired too many things in my time to ever be lawful.
That's why I'm lawful chaotic. When the laws are unjust, they must be overthrown. That's lawful chaotic, baby. Laws have their place and their use, but when they are unjust, chaos must reign to destroy those unjust laws. Or, as I would like to put it, I don't see myself as a pointless 8-point chart created by a bunch of nerds. I like to think of myself as being a little more complex of a human being than that.
He's a 10-point chart.
At least 10. At least 10. with the coffee, no coffee access added in, right? Because that's a slider.
Oh, so Bear, you don't consider yourself on the Myers-Briggs introvert extrovert shit?
Well, as an ambivert, no, I don't, because they deny I exist. They say I can't exist. I can't be extroverted and introverted. I'm not allowed. Anything that is binary is going to be a problem, because binary is very difficult for personality types. You can't really be binary. You're going to be more complex than that. So it's like, are you left wing or right wing? As I always say, I'm a fucking bird. I need both wings. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it works. I try to be a centrist whenever I can, but sometimes things sway one way or the other because of my opinions, thoughts, or outrage. So that's fine. I am, what is it the hell I am? Oh my God. I did that other test, which we had to do at our work. Hang on. I am.
Say, I don't know about everybody, but I'm a Ravenclaw.
Oh,
Me too.
Muzzle top?
my favorite though is that Kim's a Slytherin, and so I just tell her that she's evil, and she's like, "No, I'm ambitious." I'm like,
Kim is not
you're evil.
Kim is so not a Slytherin.
That's what
She cares for living things. She can't be a Slytherin.
Like the funny thing is, like, for my family, we literally have, well, obviously with 5 of us, there has to be some doubling up, but we literally represent everyone. So
we're Ravenclaw, and I think he got Gryffindor. I don't 100% remember, but I think he did.
So what am I? Which house do I live in?
Shouldn't Americans be using the American houses?
That's a good point. We should. I don't know them well enough, but
the Australian houses. What house are you? I'm House Willamaroo.
I'm gonna vote no on the American houses because I thought the American implementation was dumb.
I haven't.
I like the idea of America.
That sounds like someone from House Buggle-a-Buggle. Anyway, there's that thing where it's like INFA or whatever, that where you do the personality test and it gives you a 4-letter code that sort of breaks down aspects of your personality.
Yeah,
I'm on that. That I have more faith in.
That's the Myers-Briggs thing that I thought you said you didn't.
No. Myers-Briggs is interesting. There's aspects of that. But this is a beyond Myers-Briggs. They do a whole fucking thing. Like, it's crazy.
Huh.
Anything that reduces you to 2 things is not accurate. This thing, there's like 4 different aspects of your.
Well,
I thought the 4 was Myers-Briggs. I thought that was the whole point.
Myers-Briggs, is that what it is? Okay, because whatever just says you're an extrovert or an ambivert is wrong. There's other aspects to it.
Well,
right. No, the Myers-Briggs is the one where it has introvert and extrovert, but it's a spectrum. So you can actually have.
Okay, so that's the Myers-Briggs. That's the one I agree with. Yeah.
Yeah. INTJ.
House Yowie. I gotta go. House Bogan's causing trouble at the Quidditch. You know, like, I mean, good God.
Canadians would have House Frozen Toe.
We wouldn't have houses. That's the problem, because that would be separating us, and then we're a mosaic of beauty and wonder.
So you'd have more lean-tos?
More lean-tos.
More lean-tos. And that's the kind of bullshit people who live in places that don't have winter get in their head. Winter is good for you. It cools your brain off a little bit so the crazy slows down.
Yeah, but then you're not as
I like
responsive
winter.
to like all the dangers.
I miss winter.
I'm sorry, the what? Say that again, please. Sarah?
Then you're not as responsive to all the dangers because you've cooled.
Yeah,
down.
that's bullshit. Come here and I'll introduce you to the dangers of winter. and I'll miss you when you're gone, but
no, you won't.
Yes, I will. Actually, despite your bullshit, I like you.
No, you don't. No one likes me.
Aw, Button. Aw, who hurt you? Show me on the tauntaun where they touched you.
I miss winter. We don't get that much snow anymore, and it makes me sad. We don't get enough snow.
I got to
I've seen
bounce out,
some
guys.
pictures,
I've been
it looks
invited
wet.
over to Eli's stream as well, and I've disrupted you guys enough. Now you can go back to talking shit without me, because obviously I'm just a troublemaker.
Compared to the rest of us?
Oh, sweetie, you have no idea. You are all little angels in the world, I know. Trust me. The four of you, without a doubt, are the victims of the people I've spent most of my life around. Like, you're all like, oh, aren't they precious? Look at them. I've known some bad human beings. Let's just leave it at that. And I've done some bad things, but we're not going to get into that. Anyway, thanks for having me on, Sarah. It was a lot of fun. Tori, always a pleasure to see you. We need to get you on one of my shows at some point in time, because that would be way more fun. Brian the First, we're coming back in September. You know that, right? I've made this clear. Yes, I've talked about this multiple times, and I've mentioned it to you before. I know at least once. September is when we're coming back. So if you're going to be available, let us know. Cody and I are good to go.
I don't know. Let me just
yeah, I'll wrestle Kim for your time. And Brian the Second, you are the weakest link.
No argument.
Are you kidding? This guy has more subscribers than the four of us combined. What the hell? I did that D&D video. Like, remember the live stream we did where, like, what alternatives to D&D we could choose? 5 days later, we're almost at 1,000 views. I do something providing quality information to the universe, 200 views. You know, if I'm lucky.
I make 2 fake D&D videos, and they got more views than any of my other videos.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was either Sean Mages Musings or Eli who said that if you want to succeed, the best way to do it is do "Can this game kill D&D?" as your clickbait title, and then talk about whatever fucking thing you want to talk about.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. People are searching for it right now.
I'll try that. Let's see what happens. I'll make it
Peace,
a social experiment.
Love, geek. See y'all later. Take care.
See you there. Brian, you should do. Can this game kill D&D? And then just talk about D&D.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I think I will 100% steal that. Yes. Wow.
You know, after your My Little Pony review.
Yeah.
So
good times. We were going to talk about Star Wars at one point, were we? That was threatened yesterday.
I really like Empire Strikes Back. No,
I like the Tauntaun is like my favorite thing ever. When they tried to get me to play the MMO, the Knights of the Old Republic, and when I was playing it way back when, they had a Tauntaun mount, and I would load into the game just to run around on my Tauntaun mount. I loved it so much.
That's
the little noises
when you say the Star Wars MMO and then proceed to say the Old Republic and not Galaxies.
Oh yeah, that's... yeah, the first Star Wars MMO.
I only know of the one. Sorry, I'm young. I can't help when I was born.
We're surrounded by kids.
What about Star Wars Online? Didn't anybody ever play that?
Star Wars on. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you like literally what are you talking Galaxies or are you talking?
Oh, that's what it was called, Star Wars Online.
I believe there was briefly another one, yes.
It was the one that came out in response to World of Warcraft after Warcraft had been out, or I'm sorry, not World of Warcraft. Come on, what was the MMO that was out before Warcraft? EverQuest.
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 Well, the first one was Galaxies, and then Knights of the Old Republic.
No, Galaxies came out after this one. It was built off of it. Basically, it was built off of it from
yeah, maybe it was Galaxy.
The Lucasfilm games. Because there was a test one that Sony Entertainment did with Lucasfilm, and then they went on to do Galaxies. I watched I think it's Nerd Slayer's video breakdown of why Star Wars Galaxies failed?
Real quick, at least according to Wikipedia, the first ever open world Star Wars game was Galaxies, released in 2003.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
It's not that bad. I mean, I've played games that are older than that. I must have just passed me by. But I'm not a big MMO person either. Like, I know of them, but I don't really actually play them.
Sure, but you were what, like 5 when Galaxies came out?
I don't. I was born in 91. I was older than that.
Okay, but it still sounded funny.
Sorry. I'm lawful good, remember?
That's
I'm like
fair.
the paladin that doesn't get the jokes.
So, and just as we're starting to actually talk about something Seraphis wanted to talk about, I guess, I actually have to bounce because I literally woke up and came here, but I have to go to church in a couple of minutes. So a shower would probably be good.
It might, yeah.
So
it is.
anyway,
Wow, it's 9 already.
Everybody, thank you so much for having me. Seraphis, as always, and we'll talk more about our plan. And I think I'm gonna have to talk about Brian and get him on for do the same thing, but with My Little Pony.
Oh, this sounds
Don't worry,
intriguing.
Game Masters. It won't hurt as much as you think.
It sounds intriguing.
Yeah, no, I anyways, I have plans and ideas, and I probably won't, like actually execute them. But that's a whole separate issue. Anyways, Tori, great to see you as well. Brian, if I didn't say goodbye, there it is. Anyways, guys, have a great Sunday. Thanks.
Rock and roll.
Woo!
Bye.
Always a good time.
Uh,
It's about time to call it for you guys. I know, I'm here stitching. I'm just gonna be here. I'm here for as long as you guys are here because I'm just stitching.
well, I mean, I've probably got another 20 minutes I can squeeze, technically speaking. It's not quite 1 a.m. yet, so, And no kids have gotten up yet for me to put back to bed, so...
Yeah, well, that was fun. It's always interesting having Bear on. You're always going to hear a lot of. I feel like it's just a different environment, and especially when you have so many people. Like the more people you have, the more it gets kind of loud. Might not be the right word for it, but just there's more vocalization. There's more going on. There's more back and forth and all of that. And then when you get down to less people, it's like it kind of gets like quiet.
Well, I want to see so many people that we're doing the Brady Bunch panel, and everybody's like,
especially with the cameras. You'd think I'd learn by now, but every time I go to gesture, I'm pointing at my screen, so I'm like pointing over here, but actually you're that way.
Well, see, it's easy for me because I could just do this.
Yeah, right. But what happens when you have to reference just one of us? Then you have to. Oh,
or.
Well.
Although, admittingly, I was trying to point to you first, and I did this.
See, exactly. You think,
and now you are the one who is messed up.
Now I'm pointing the wrong way.
Next time we just need Seraphis to do this every so often. Just switch the panels around, just like every 20 to 30 minutes, like every 15 minutes, like a little beeper goes off, and he just switches us around just to really confuse things. And then underneath one of our panels is the pebble. And whoever finds the pebble wins the giveaway, right?
So now I can do this pretty flawlessly.
But okay.
Now switch us around, Seraphis, and tell me who to point to, and I'll see if I can point to
him. Okay, point to Tori.
Let's see if I've got that right.
Yeah, I got it. No, I reversed the camera. So
hang on. So if Seraphis is there, I need to go there. I did it! First try.
But you see Chucky back here behind me? He's all in reverse now. So.
Oh yeah, my dirty secret that whole time. You remember how I left midway while we were still in the middle of like the WotC and then this and that and the other thing? I switched my hoodie. So this is actually my Jim Dark Magic shirt because I'm a huge fan of Perkins and Acquisitions Incorporated. So the whole time we were talking about how we don't like WotC, I'm wearing my Jim Dark Magic shirt and just definitely hiding the logo. I mean, that's the thing. I don't I see where a lot of people are coming from, and I don't criticize people for not liking WotC, for being very vocal about it. Obviously, sometimes we need vocal voices. You know, we need loud voices. We need people to stand up and go, hey, this isn't right. At the same time, though, I don't think it's wrong to still like something, right? I still like D&D. I still like Acquisitions Incorporated. I don't know about Perkins as far as a designer goes, because my experience of him has nothing to do with his designing and everything to do with just him DMing actual play games. That's why I like him, or that's, you know, one thing I like. Obviously, people are more complicated than that, but I don't think it's sacrilegious or horrible or anything like that to say that you're a fan of something that other people like or other people don't like, as long as you're a genuine fan of that thing. You know,
well, and if you're deriving fun from it, I mean, you know, I don't think it's right for anybody to begrudge somebody else because they're having fun playing something.
Although, to be fair, your fun is wrong.
I opened myself up to that one. But no, it's one of those where it's always interesting to. I just realized I misspelled my name. I just now realized that my name has an N in it.
Torin.
Whoops. All right. Well, anyways. But yeah, no,
I just figured that was on purpose, so I didn't mention anything. I've noted that for about an hour now.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I woke up. We went to go see the 15th anniversary edition of Coraline in 3D yesterday, but I have glasses. So whenever we do something like that, the 3D glasses have to go on top of the other glasses, which means they're further from my face, which drives the focal point kind of away. It basically, I was great fun. I really enjoyed seeing, I love the movie. I enjoyed seeing it in 3D, but I have such a crick in my neck and I had such a huge headache. And after this, I'm just going to go back to trying to lean back and play in the dark. But because I'm enjoying, I loaded Baldur's Gate 3. And I clicked the button, and before I could finish blinking, the Larian thing was already playing. And then the art for the loading screen, popped, and at the bottom it popped with 50%. I'm like, it didn't even load 0. It just started at 50. Like, I'm not used to having that kind of speed. I'm not used to clicking on something and just having it instantaneously appear. And I didn't realize how slow my machine really was. So I'm going to play all the games and enjoy all the new powers of RAM and a decent processor.
And then there was quiet.
And then there was quiet. For a minute there, I couldn't tell if you were frozen or if you were deliberately trying to pose like you were frozen, like the one time. And then you blinked, and then I knew you were real.
Or is he?
Or is he? That was the moment to play the Inception sound effect, if any. Okay. So let me ask you guys this then. Back in yesterday, you mentioned wanting to talk about Star Wars this morning, or even having it as a topic. Why?
Just something interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We usually come up with like a couple of ideas if we get dead air, so we can go, oh, hey, Star Wars, or oh, hey, the Magic the Gathering thing.
Yeah.
But, okay.
You and Bear tend to have stuff you kind of start talking about, and then it goes for a long time. And
is this why you keep inviting me back? I do like to talk a lot. It's true. I can talk way too much for way too long. But I was asking because I was just wondering if there was something specific you wanted to say on it. I watch. I'm a big fan of The Critical Drinker, So I've been hearing a lot of Acolyte stuff, even though I haven't seen the show. So it's just really interesting to me that you guys were gonna mention that, because I mean, I don't think anyone's super surprised that it's getting canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything super specific to say about it. You know, I think that there's two different camps that are trying to figure out exactly why it was canceled. You've got one camp that is all citing about, oh, well, you know, they're talking about, you know, we've got people that are bigots and racists, and that's the reason why it was canceled, because they were being a vocal lot. And that's not the case at all.
Mm-mm.
You know, it was bad writing. It was a hijacking of the lore and the story of the Star Wars that has been found in the Star Wars universe. That's what everybody has been vocal about.
It's bad on levels.
Yes,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's bad on levels. So there is certainly something to be said about those of us who are frustrated with political messaging in our movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can call me all the names you want to, but at a certain point, I'm kind of over the in-your-faceness of it. You know, I don't care about representation in movies as long as the character in the story is the center. When the representation becomes the center, you don't have good character in the story anymore. So that's a layer.
Right.
Under that, you have the hijacking of the lore, the messing up of the timelines, the like complete disastrous treatment of the world physics from the Star Wars universe, you know, the just breaking everything. And then on a layer under that, you have stuff that is still so bad that the other two are separate layers from it. Like, let's pretend that they weren't messing up the timeline with, you know, the guy that is supposed to, I forget the name.
Yeah, Carte Monday.
But yeah, like, let's say that wasn't a thing. Let's say that this was a new kind of separate universe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Even within the universe they've created, they're inconsistent. And then within the universe that they've created, like, again, separate from the old stuff, the characters are just bad. The plot just makes no sense. There's, and again, I'm doing all of this from reviews of it. I haven't actually watched the show, but I've just seen reviews of it.
You're spot on. I mean, that's exactly what the issues have been.
So you've got three separate, like, it's so bad.
But I mean, even if you take all that, one of the biggest problems is that it looks bad too. There's some okay makeup for some things, but like the set design on that goddamn forest world was so cheap. It looked like it could have been from a first season Power Rangers set.
So add that into a fourth layer.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And they spent what, $180 million total on that season?
A lot.
And on top of that, if you go back and watch I believe it's the beginning of the, I want to say 4th or 5th episode, the one where the Sith dude has come into it, there's a moment right at the beginning there where Osha looks through the tree line and you can see the fight going on. And clearly, they just told the stunt people to kind of act like there's a fight. Because, oh my God, it doesn't matter if you take any still from Attack of the Clones during the arena fight scene. This scene is far and away worse because they're kind of just swinging their lightsabers.
Not actually making contact.
It's the focus of the view from Osha. You see her look through, and then it becomes the focus of the view. And they're just kind of waving their lightsabers around like they're meant to be in a fight. And it's like, the fuck? The absolute fucking fuck. Like, that, no. Fucking no. Whoever thought that was okay should be fucking fired. Like,
well, they were. So,
yes.
I mean, and I have a bit of when it comes to movie reviews, I'm a bit odd because I will constantly see in various reviewers and various movies the line, and the CGI was just horrible, and the CGI didn't age well, etc., etc., etc. And that's the one thing I can never, it kind of all looks the same to me, and it all looks CGI to me. I can't take two CGI movies next to each other that a reviewer will say, well, this is good CGI and this is bad CGI. And I'll look at them and I'll be like, it's just CGI. It's this. I don't understand. I literally don't understand the concept of good CGI versus bad CGI. Not really. Anyways, because I've heard people say like XYZ is bad CGI, and I'm like, it looks fine. It looks great. So that's the one layer I can't really speak to, because I probably wouldn't have noticed something like that if I were watching it.
Here's the funny thing about that too. The spaceship CGI in the show is relatively okay. The problem is that they clearly reused the assets doing the exact same thing over and over again.
Well, I mean, other movies have done that too, and we don't, movies that are considered good movies. I mean, the thing in A New Hope with the guy who goes up is just the film going forward and then backtracking back down. You can, if you go back and watch, you can actually see the glitch in the film where they just rewind it to make it look like he was going up and down multiple times. And everybody watches that all the time, and we never bat an eye. So maybe
yes,
it's
but it's the difference between that was a indie project compared to this is a Disney film with Disney money. They should not have been reusing an asset like that and just slightly changing the angle. Otherwise, it is the exact same scene multiple times. It's the same planet scene, or they changed the planet, but it's the exact same camera angle. So they just retexture the planet asset in the image and then re-render it, and then that's all they've done.
It's like
same camera angle, same everything.
It's like having a car chase scene in two different parts of the movie, but they use the same footage in both scenes.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And I have seen that. In fact, I can't think of the movie to save my life right now, but there's one movie in particular where I don't remember what movie it was, and I'll probably think of it halfway through the day, but I do remember the feeling of like, hey, wait, I just saw that. Like it bounced me out of the movie because they showed a scene, and it was something like a character walking towards the camera. It was like some scene where the character's like walking towards the camera, and then they cut away, and then they cut back, and the character restarted back here because they used the same footage.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Wolverine does that during the house of vehicle explosion.
I bet if we went digging, we could probably find that in lots of movies. Because I've only seen Origins one time ever. And this was a movie that I think I've seen multiple times. And I think it was animated too, which is another interesting, like a CG animated. I almost want to say Flushed Away, but I don't think it was quite that one. But I mean, you see stuff like that, and it usually jars you out of the film. You're like, well, wait a minute. Like you notice as a viewer when stuff like that happens, but you're right to point out that the expectation, though, the 180 million versus, some guy in the desert that no one believes will possibly succeed.
Here's my point on that, is that I looked at that scene as someone who used to do graphic design and went, I could have done a better job. At the very least, I could have turned the freaking camera to a different angle so it looked like a different shot. But it's just that camera angle was the same, or the POV of the camera was the same. The the disconnection of the ship assets were the same. Like it was lazy. Like Babylon 5 in the 90s wasn't nearly as bad as reusing assets as this was. At least every so often they would throw in a new asset of the the space station from a different angle, from a different lighting effect or something, going into nighttime mode or something. This was just absolutely lazy.
Have you guys heard of a movie called The Secrets of Moonacre?
No.
Exactly. So I found it by scrolling endlessly on, I think, Amazon Prime at one point, or one of those, just looking for something. And I just found this like indie-esque, no one's ever heard of this film, blah, 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 blah. I watched it. I absolutely adore it to tiny pieces too, by the way. Great. And you can tell that like it's not a big, aw.
That's why the camera's off.
Yeah, he's not feeling well.
Oh no, this is the girl.
Ah.
He's been waking up lately.
Oh well, if you need to go, I'm kind of just filling time with Star Wars conversation because it's interesting. But
yeah, I'm good for the time being.
Oh, all right. The Secrets of Moonacre is like a small indie-esque type. Hardly anyone's heard of it. Hardly anyone's seen it. But if you go watch it, it has a production quality that like makes these $100 and some odd million Disney things look just awful. It's like how does a film that no one's ever heard of from a production studio no one's ever heard of somehow make something that looks like a film and looks real and comes across really well compared to someone who spent all that money? It's like, where is this money going?
Oh, you want some good examples of that? Look up the movies Wormwood, WYRM, and Necrotronic.
Check something else too.
They're both
quick.
Australian films by the same people, basically. And there is so much production quality in those movies. Quite frankly, this last batch, really, of Disney shows and, quite frankly, Disney movies should be freaking ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, they're... Okay, so what was it called?
So the first one was Wormwood. Game Masters would like that one.
I think I've seen it.
Wormwood. Okay. 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the other one was Necrotronic. It has the most neon cyber demonic cover you could imagine. And if you see
It looks very I wish I were Tron.
Would you believe
we have Tron at home?
Would you believe it's nothing like Tron, unless you imagine Tron was demonic exorcisms.
Interesting.
And, Monica Bellusci's in it as well.
I may have to. That is curious. It's playing like the trailer in front right now. I shouldn't joke. I haven't seen it, obviously. I had Tron on the brain because I used that image for the thumbnail for the build.
Oh yeah, Tron's an awesome movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, I can't say
at
that
least the original one was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen my video openings? They're kind of inspired by Tron.
Yeah, it's.
Speaking of opening, are you going to do an intro to the video today?
Oh yeah, I should probably do an intro, huh? Hey, this is Talkin Drek, and I'm joined by Game Masters and Tian Torin. And we were previously joined by Gaming with ADHD Brian, and as well as Bear, the Gen X GM. Yeah, so how about we have a topic?
Yeah, I saw you put under there earlier. I'm the other end, by the way.
I'm the extra end.
I did see that. I'm the extra end. I did see that. I don't know if it was a reference to the name, but I saw it and I wonder. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. When out of here, probably gonna go back to playing. I was in the middle right when the thing started, and I got sent the leak. I was in the middle of trying to figure out how to level my characters in Baldur's Gate 3, like if I want to stick with wizard or if I want to dip into sorcerer, and I want to keep Astarion in my party because I never do. So I was trying to figure out. Have you guys played that?
Yeah, I just killed that guy outright.
Astarion.
Yeah.
I didn't like him at first. I'm deliberately trying to keep him in my party this time because I didn't do it the first time. You know what I mean? Like when you do something different on purpose to
try to see if there's a different set of options or something later. Yeah.
Yeah, there's I'm still mind boggled by the fact that he became the most popular character when it launched. Like he's